What's up, bro? It's your boy Dirty Brian Brooks. Follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel, also subscribe to my boxing channel, Speak and Chop It Up. Real quick, I just want to give a breakdown on why people think that the ancient Egyptians were not black. The truth of the matter is, and I'm responding to Cheif X because a lot of times there's a lot of black people who say things for attention. They don't really have, expertise or anything. Cheif X is saying that they're not black because he's a black person that just like to hear some talk. Some people would just say anything for attention. And that's Cheif X. Cheif X just says anything. You listen to him, he's just a plebiscite, babbling, talking black person that's talking. Because he talks about nothing. I'm listening to him talking, I'm listening to him, he's just talking. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You're not saying anything, dog. The truth of the matter is this, and this is what people keep misunderstanding. All the Arabs, Egyptians, all the white people, this is what they keep failing to understand. Cheif X will come across this video. This is what people don't understand. Let's tell the truth. Prior to the 1700s, okay, there was a time point in the world that there was no such question if the ancient Egyptians wasn't black. There was no such question. No one, and we was living back then, at that particular time period, nobody was walking around, or is the ancient Egyptians black? They didn't ask questions like that. We see the idea of them not being black is more of a modern concept. Okay, that's what people don't understand. Egyptology was created solely on the fact to hide the fact that the ancient Egyptians were black. And this is not even according to me. This is not a conspiracy theorist. What happened to them being black in the first place? When did they stop being black? When Egyptology was created. Because even the earlier scholars, John Francis Tremblayon, he said that they were black. He's the father of Egyptology. He makes it clear that they're black Africans. He doesn't make no mistake about it. He said that they're black Africans. There's more proof that they are black than it is why they aren't. Egypt is in Africa. What are you people talking about? What are you talking about? This is so basic, easy to understand. The original racism, the original racist concept of them not being black was solely on the fact that people did not like the idea of black people having a civilization without the benefit of Europeans. This is what they say. Because you got to remember, in the 1700s, we're talking about this is the heart of the slave trade. This is the heart of white supremacy. This is the beginning of, at that particular time, they had propaganda out, and they were saying that, okay, black people are inferior, black people are not smart, we have small brains, and they're saying this just to justify their means of dominance over the Africans. That we were just not smart, we were supposed to be dominant over it, and we needed on Europeans. The idea of a black civilization without Europeans is unimaginable to racists because their whole narrative was we came among you, we discovered you, and we civilized you. You people had low IQs, you were uncivilized, you was in Africa in mud, and this is their narrative. But that's not true because we all grew up, a lot of us grew up thinking that it was Europeans who did this, Europeans who did that, and they want to maintain that lie, that it was them who came out of caves and brought civilization to people, and it's just not true. That's why that's why the whole idea of the ancient Egyptians being black Africans, they cannot fathom that. They just can't accept that because their whole narrative about black people was we were just not smart. We was not smart. We waited for Europeans to come out of caves. They came out of caves and they civilized us, which is not true, but they want to maintain that lie. That's what it is. So that's what most Egyptian Arabs, they don't understand this. You keep saying it's still history, it's still history. You only saying that it's your history because the original idea of them not being black stems from a racist narrative. And every time we bring that up, people get quiet. People get quiet. They don't like to talk about the truth. It is what it is. And if you are Egyptian, if you Arabic, you could at least be honest and just tell some truth. Even if you think that they're not black, you can't say that they were Arabs. Even if you disagree, that's understandable. But to tell us that people who enslaved Africans, people who committed genocide, people who committed just straight atrocities, you want to tell us that that's their history? You people were invaders. You were enemies to African people. How are you going to tell us it's your history? You came among Africans as enemies. Imagine if white people tell Native Americans We are the original Native Americans, and that's our history. Imagine if they tell them that. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. It'd be mind blowing. So this is what it is. Arabs came to Africa, 1640 A.D. They invaded, but their whole narrative is they always was just there. No, you weren't. You have to be black like me. You have to look like us. We are black. We're Africans. We have the melanin phenotype. We're black. You can't say that you're indigenous to Africa and not be black. That doesn't make any sense. That don't make no sense. Look at me. Look at us. We all black people. How are you going to tell us that you're from somewhere and you're not indigenous there? It makes no sense. You go to Asia, you see people with an Asian phenotype. You go to Europe, you see people with a European phenotype. Why is it that in Africa, everybody else has the melanin phenotype, but just by chance in this little area, these people are inhabitants of an area. Even though everybody else is black, these little bit of people, they not black. They something other than black. But they not indigenous to Africa. That's just what it is. I'm talking from the perspective of genetics. You have to be black to be from Africa or be some type of African descent. That's just what it is. I don't care. Jamaicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, all of us are part of the African family. So everybody that's these Arab Egyptians or whatever they want to call themselves, they don't understand. They are being deceitful. How you going to say it's your history? When they came later, most of the pyramid structures and stuff like that was there. And Arabs, Islamic Muslims, tried to destroy the pyramid structure when they got there. They tried to destroy it. I'm gonna post a link so people can see the actual information. They tried to destroy the pyramid structure because they said that they said that the Egyptians were devil worshippers and it wasn't Islamic to them. So they tried to destroy the pyramid. So how the fuck you gonna try to destroy some shit and then come and try to claim the shit now? Arabs did not care. Egyptian Arabs did not care nothing about none of that stuff. It had nothing to do with them. They robbed the tombs, stole the jewelry, stole all the riches out of there. People said that they had the bodies and shit like that all in the street, selling the bodies. Now all of a sudden, it's your ancestors because they found DNA from 2017. What about all the other DNA evidence that's collected? People think that that's not the only DNA that's collected. There's other people who been have collected DNA samples. And this is the reason why in 2023, most scholars today agree that they were black. And whoever doesn't agree are most likely just racist. That's what it is, because that's just really basically the truth. The Egyptians not being black stems from a racist perspective. Because the whole ideology was black people are not smart. Black people were just, they have low IQs. There's no way they built this culture, this society without us. It's just impossible. That was their whole thing. And that's what the whole original Egyptologists, this is the reason why they created Egyptology. The purpose of creating Egyptology was to hide the fact that they were black Africans. So that's just what it is. Even I could go on further to even explain the Nubians are black. They're black Africans. They're the same people. How are you going to say that the ancient Egyptians are not black? The Nubians were black. The Nubians are black people. Clearly, they're black. Clearly, when you look at the Nubian artwork of the ancient Egyptians, they depict them as black. They make it clear. You look at how they were distinguishing who was from who. The Nubians make it clear that they're black. And as far as that goes, how can people live among each other? Because we know the Nubians and Egyptians live among each other. How do they live among each other? You don't think that they reproduce with each other? You don't think they didn't have any children or anything like that together? After living among each other? The Nubians being black kills the myth of a non-black Egyptians. It just kills the myth of it. But they try to say, oh no, the Nubians were just a different people. They were a different culture of people. There wasn't really, they fought over political differences, but the Egyptians said that their ancestors were from Nubia. And the Nubians are the ones who built Egypt. What are you people talking about? Arabs have nothing to do with the ancient civilization. This has nothing to do with it. They came later on, and that's just what it is. You can't enslave people, oppress people, commit genocide, and then turn around, take their history, and then try to use reverse psychology and say it's us trying to take something from you. Why? Why would we need to take something from you for what? You guys came to Africans as enemies, And that's what it is. And even white folks, your ancestors, your Greco-Roman ancestors told us that they were black Africans. Verbatim. The Greco-Romans said that they are black. They explained them as being black. Herodias said that they were black. And people say, well, he was talking about black people. He made that clear. Because altogether, he called them Ethiopians. And anybody that know anything about history, Ethiopians was just a word for all black people. All black people was actually considered Ethiopians. When they say a black person, they would just call that black person an Ethiopian. Even if they didn't have to be from Ethiopia. But that's just what it is. So that's my take on it. People were being deceitful and disingenuous about history. But I understand that the propaganda is created for people to believe in. I understand why Arab Egyptians, who are anti-black racists, by the way, they're very anti-black racists. They don't understand. They do understand what it is. There has been an agenda to steal history from black African people because this is the ego thing. We're fighting over who started society first, and white people know they had nothing to do with it. So we're going to just make up a lie and just let the Arabs believe that it was the original Egyptians were Middle Eastern. But if the original Egyptians were Middle Eastern, why are they not related to the Nubians? That don't make any sense. That makes zero sense. I know that doesn't make any sense, but the whole thing to white supremacy is to be deceitful. And Cheif X is just a black person, no credentials, no nothing, just talking in circles. Talking in circles. You know, and people would, these racists will, well, here's a black person, here's another black person saying that another black person, that one black person opinion don't mean nothing to me. What he say don't mean nothing to me. He doesn't represent me. That one black person opinion don't mean nothing to us. So that's just really what it is. So I'm gonna land my plane like that. The ancient Egyptians always been black. It's just people later on decided to create an agenda to say that they wasn't black because of racism. And that's just really what it is. The original idea of them not being black stems from a racist perspective. And you can say what you want. And even if you, and that's why I say, if you say the ancient Egyptians are not black, I'm gonna call you a racist. Because you're saying that they're not black because in the racist mind, it's like, no way they could have been black. It's just no way black people are not smart enough to be the first ones to do mathematics and science and astrology. There's just no way they can't do stuff like that. That's their whole thing. That was the whole reason why they couldn't accept the fact that they were black because of racism. And obviously you agree because people were influenced by these racist Egyptologists who said that that was their agenda. So that's just what it is. I'm gonna leave it at that. The ancient Egyptians always been black, and that's just what it is. You can even, you don't believe what I'm saying. Look at the chronology. Look at the time period when people started saying they wasn't black. There was a time in the world, in this world, where people never asked questions if they were black or not. And I know it's probably hard to accept. The idea of them not being black is a new thing. And the Arab Egyptians are saying that they're not black, trying to steal history from people because they too believe in the same anti-black racism as white folks. And that's just really what it is. They know that they had nothing to do with the culture. And I'm going to just leave it at that.